we're trying to feed the rescue workers here, and food is very scarce.
There's a lot of guys who haven't eaten, and they're online.
We've been going in the area, store to grocery stores, asking them for donations of food that we've been bringing down here and distributing. We're trying to supply them with whatever's needed in order for them to maintain doing the work that they're doing.
People have been helping, everybody's been pitching in, everybody's just trying to do what they can.
Our divisional disaster director was here on site. He had come to a meeting in the mayor's bunker, and he was walking down the street when the first plane hit. He called back immediately. We alerted our canteen units, and within an hour, our units were coming into the area.
When we met at the first meeting with the Office of Emergency Management, they asked us how many meals we could get down in right away. That was probably maybe about 11:30.
We called a food restaurateur that we use for all of our social services here in New York. That was Whitson's.
By supper time, we had 25,000 meals prepared.
And they provided the beginnings of a food service that would provide 4 million meals.
We really have been able to sustain the operation to this very day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without stopping one moment from September the 11th till May the 30th, 2002.
In the early days, they were so anxious, hoping to find somebody alive, that they wouldn't take breaks. So we started our bucket brigade of ice water, and we would go to the pile to meet them.
There was a deep commitment and passion within the organization to respond to the needs of people.
When it became so hot, the fires were burning, their boots were burned through, their socks were soaked, and we would literally take their boots and their socks off of them, dry their feet, powder their feet.
We've been able to give them all of the supplies that they've needed. In wintertime, the hand warmers. In the summertime, the ice for water.
A lot of guys have been down in the pit working 12, 14, 16 hours. They've been there for us hot meals, someplace to go, someplace to sit, someplace to relax. People to talk to us if we're not feeling, really up to par.
Someone to talk to you, to lean, you can put your head on their shoulder and cry if you needed to.
I would see some of the officers that they would just, hold hands and pray with people that really needed some assistance.
I don't think we would have made it this far without them, from spiritual nourishment to toothpaste. Everything has been there 7/24 for 8.5 months.
Two months into the process, we decided that we would try a restaurant revitalization program. Mom and pop stores that would never have opened up again, we gave them some stake money. Make your food. If you specialize in breakfast, let me buy 800 of them for Monday. I'll buy 700 on Tuesday. If you make your specialty at the restaurant is lunch, you serve pizza, I'll take 100 pizzas for tomorrow's dinner. So we've been able to, even on a meager level, to keep restaurants in business. Are probably spending close to $120,000, $130,000 a week in order to revitalize the community and to bring business back into Manhattan.
The Salvation Army couldn't do what we did if it wasn't for our volunteers. Just in this incident alone, we've recorded over 1 million volunteer hours.
I am completely enthralled with the sincerity of what the Salvation Army does. I lived all my life in New York. I never had anything to do with them before. I didn't know too much about them, but since 9/11, I am completely sure that they are the most sincere group that I've ever worked with, and I've done a lot of volunteer work in my life.
The Salvation Army was in here at the beginning. They came in on the 11th. They had a canteen down in here. between buildings 4 and 5. We walked right into the Salvation Army and told them we wanted to go in and help any way we could. And they said, okay.
The group of us actually all worked at the same canteen.
Yeah.
We kind of took it over a little bit. It became the Hard Hat Cafe, and it was run by local New Yorkers.
We had people who served sometimes 24, 36 hours without relief here when it was very difficult to bring personnel into the area. They slept in their units and then got back up and worked again.
I've been doing it for about 40 years, and I enjoy it.
And to see how many people have been touched, you know, through the efforts that's been here through all the volunteers. I know my life's been changed, and I'll never forget this.
What I began to watch happen was what happens when evil strikes. It is quickly consumed and swallowed up by love. The Salvation Army has demonstrated that in a magnificent way with volunteers of every race and persuasion.
One of my favorite scripture verses came to mind, and it says this, the only thing that counts is faith expressing itself in love. And really what the Salvation Army came down here to do was to take our Christian faith and express that in how we were about his love and sharing his love with others.
At Ground Zero especially, people can see through who you are very easily. And the Salvation Army really as an organization has really provided a love and warmth and spirituality.
I probably fall in the category of most people. I wasn't aware the Salvation Army is like a religious organization, you know, and it's very befitting for this place because this is God's work here. People ask all the time, like, where is God? You know, where was he on September 11th since? And I tell you, he was here. I mean, he's here in the workers of the Salvation Army.
My name is Rosemary Kane, and my son George was with the fire department. He was with Ladder 7 on 29th Street down East Side, and he was killed on September 11th. And I had the good fortune and the miracle of being here the day that he was recovered. And from that day on, I have been coming down here and working with the Salvation Army. It has been my salvation. You will always be in my prayers, and thank you.
I came to participate in this closing ceremony. The Salvation Army was the first unit here, and we are the last. And we thought it was fitting that we should be represented.
If any organization represented that fabric of all of America, certainly the volunteers that came here and worked under the banner of the Salvation Army. They are to be applauded and lauded forever.
Helped us get through it. Thank you.
It's nice having you guys around. You guys, you know, you're around. Give us some water when we're overdoing it, and you know, it's been helpful. You know.
Outstanding job. One of the best agencies America has. Thank you again.
Everything that they've done for us to keep our morale up, they really made us feel special.
We never asked what we were eating, so don't you ask.
We were on a mission, and they were right along the side with us. We'll always remember it. We'll never forget it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Couldn't have done this without you.
Thank you. You did a good job. Great. It filled our bellies.
I would just like to thank all of you from the Salvation Army here from New York and across America who really stepped up to the plate for New York and for America and for goodness and manner. So thank you.